Board of Education for this opportunity to address you. I'll be speaking to you about how literacy rates affect graduation and ultimately how those rates together impact the future for our community. It's no secret that the requirements for earning a high school diploma have gotten more rigorous in the past 2 decades. The standard of competence for our graduates is both appropriate and necessary, not only for the students themselves, but also for our community at large. As you are aware, our commitment to the quality of education students receive goes beyond the classroom and the campuses of colleges and universities. It directly affects our local economy's stability and its overall welfare. According to the National Center for Education statistics, national graduation rates have grown from just over 50% in the early 1950s to over 70% in the past decades. The most recent data available on our county website shows that the state average is 78.8%, significantly more than the national rate, and additionally, our district's rate is 84%. This is commendable. The district's mission statement, ensuring success for each student, is truly making a difference. I'd like to share some information about an overlooked trend that indicates that our college-bound graduates are not fully ready to meet the challenges of college in terms of reading stamina when they leave us. A former student shared her thoughts with me when I ran into her on the UGA campus a few months ago. The hardest part about college isn't getting in, it's staying here. I read all the time, more than I ever have before in my life, and I don't know if I can keep up, is what Selena said when I saw her in the Tate Student Center. I was floored by her honest response. She was a model high school student. She scored over a 30 on her ACT. She took 8 advanced placement courses and scored a 3 or better on all 8 exams. Her transcript did not include a single general level course or a grade lower than 90. She was accepted into the school of her choice as an early action candidate. If one of the best and brightest is struggling, the implications for the rest of our college-bound graduates is even scarier. Graduates from Henry County who enter college find that they are ill-prepared to handle the reading stamina required of them. Keep in mind, valued board members, that one of the foundations of a thriving community is an exceptional school system. High school and college graduates return to live and work in our community. If they are not prepared to handle the critical thinking that comes with being a lifelong reader, that indicates that their waning literacy rates will eventually affect the economic stability of our community. Because our mission statement is ensuring success for each student, the Board of Education should take action to build the reading stamina and fluency of high school students, which in turn will foster lifelong readers. One such practice is book love. Currently, our students are assigned, on average, 12 book-length works over the course of high school. But the fact is that nearly all of those texts are written by adults for adults. And even though many of them are great books, most teens are not interested at all. It should not be a surprise to anyone that students often turn to study aids like Cliff Notes or Book Rags instead of reading the assigned text. The result of this kind of fake reading is that students finish high school without the reading stamina and fluency they need to be successful after graduation. Kittle's research indicates that if students are lifelong readers, then they are better prepared for life after high school. Noted reading advocate and author Tom Newkirk, professor at the University of New Hampshire, wants students to read a lot so they have a variety of experiences to draw on and the ability to handle the volume of reading expected in college. In her survey of college professors from across the country, Kittle found that professors stressed volume and assigned between 200 and 600 pages per week of outside reading. Clearly, reading stamina is important. I do not believe that high school English teachers should assign students to read such volume, but it is important that at this level we begin to introduce our students so they will have the stamina before they graduate. By asking students to read a minimum of 2 hours per week outside of the classroom from books they select based on interest, they practice the habit of reading. Even though they may not be reading from a list of great books, what they are doing is reading engaging books that are accessible. According to Kittel, to be engaged with the deep reading of literature, you first have to be comfortable with words, lots of words, over hundreds of pages. Through this weekly practice, students are adding text to their personal libraries and they are practicing essential reading strategies. The practice of reading with material students find engaging and accessible results in students who grow more comfortable and confident with their reading skills. Lifelong readers are essential to the preservation and progress of the American culture, but the majority of my students, even those in my advanced placement classes, are not lifelong readers. 80% of them reported to me that they do not read for pleasure, and that they had not read a single book in the previous month. According to Kelly Gallagher, educator and reading advocate, our highest priority is to raise students who become lifelong readers. What our students read in school is important, but what they read for the rest of their lives is more important. The importance of producing lifelong readers beyond educational testing cannot be understated. Ray Bradbury summed it up best when he wrote, "You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture, just get people to stop reading them." A study by the NEA shows that Ray Bradbury is correct. The data suggests that deficient readers are more likely to be stuck in low-level jobs, to be unemployed, and to spend time in prison. On the other hand, lifelong readers are more likely to be involved in civic activities like volunteering and voting, and cultural activities such as visiting museums. This data is why the declining trend of lifelong readers is so alarming. As a community, we must address this trend now before we see an economic and quality of life decline. Readicide, the systematic killing of the love of reading, is a reality that must be addressed if we are truly interested in ensuring success for every student. Few professionals in education will disagree that reading is important or that our students are not reading enough. However, how to most effectively stem the problem is not a topic that is addressed often enough. Gallagher is correct with his observation that preparing students for the reading required on a standardized test kills the opportunity for students to develop into the kind of readers our society needs. The elimination of high-stakes testing does not seem to be on the horizon, so the challenge is how do we prepare our students without committing readicide? Kittel's book love practice is a step in the right direction because it provides a balance. In a perfect situation, the board would be in a financial position to fund all requests for reading programs. However, we have been in financial distress for almost a decade, and it is unlikely that significant funding for a new reading program is available. The book love practice, however, is still worthy of consideration. This past year, 4 teachers at Ola High School implemented the book love practice, and the financial investment for our school was $300, the total cost of 10 copies of Kittel's book. Ensuring success for each student is essential in producing productive citizens. One way to truly make a difference is to develop lifelong readers who then make positive contributions to the community. The most effective and cost-efficient way to make this happen is to endorse the book love practice. Thank you for your time this evening.